It's rainy, so we're soaking wet. There. Look how pretty though. It's getting so green. Nelly has been feeding mosquitoes. I was thinking about doing that. Then I said, nope. But the waterfalls are full. Karl's gonna come out in a little bit. Rune is going home because he's too soaking wet to play with us. There's 2 sheared sheep down there if you see them. And then the waterfalls are full. So I did not get much needle binding done. I have this much of my hat done. It's getting there. We have been playing games. Well, I have 1 more week of my kids' school, then I'm here for all summer. But I posted a video on Viking Valley Facebook with Heidi showing people some of the stick game. Yeah, it's gorgeous here today. It's getting so green. And the vegetation is really starting to take off now. I don't know if we've told you this before, but this place where we're standing now is originally tunnel mass. It wasn't, I mean, it's originally fjord. We've added all the tunnel mass from the 11 to 12 kilometer tunnel right next to us. When that was dug out, they put this part of the fjord, and that's kind of where we're standing on now. The original fjord line is right about there where the hill starts going up. That's the original shore. So this means you don't have to go very far down before you find nothing but rock. So it takes a while to plant, which is what we're kind of getting going there, but it's getting so full. And then, wait till you see the waterfalls today. This is the good part about heavy rain. La-da! Look at how full! And green, it's very green. My camera still seems to be on the paler side, but... And some bonus ones down on the right there. You can really see Fenris today. That there is Fenris. Can you see it? He looks like a little wolf. Good morning, Karin. Karin from Hot Phoenix. Wow. Well, it's not too cold here, but it's starting to feel a little cold because we're all wet. And then more of the daisies are coming up now. If you see them, we'll show you some more. So remember a couple weeks ago, I showed you the plants. This is how big that little plant is now. It's huge and it's starting to get flowers. This is the one that's basically a Viking Band-Aid. Oh my God, 113, I could not do that. I don't know if you can see how big those leaves are there. They're huge. But they'll get purple flowers. And I forgot what the name of that one was again. And I'm pretty sure these are raspberries. But they're starting to grow too. No, maybe they're not raspberries. No, it's solbær, which directly translates to sunberries. Black currant, I think it is. And then clover is growing like mad. You can't even... Oh, yeah, you can see the strawberries. There's the daisies coming up, and the strawberries are getting big. So it looks like Lisa in her garden here is going to have a lot of strawberries. And the stinging nettles are growing everywhere. Those are starting to go to seed now, so soon they're going to be just good for plant dyeing and not much else. You can see Lisa has hung some to dry though before, so those will be great for teas and soups. And for those who don't know Lisa, the crazy bead lady, she said her sister didn't like beads, and that's everything that's left of her sister now. The bones. So we're gonna, just in case it starts raining again, this is kind of a fun thing here. If you can see behind me, there, you'll see like a wall of mist coming this way. And then it's time to get some cover because the rain will be here soon. It's because of the mountains you can actually see the rain before it gets here. So the clover got really high. I don't think I've seen the foliage looking this high here. More of those big leaf plants. She's got ferns in here, more currants. And this one is huge now. If you remember the size of that one. Hi, Kiwi! I'll say hi to everyone else too when I get to sit down and hold the chat. So you can see. This is the one that's called lovage. I forgot what it's called in Norwegian anyway, but it's really good in soups and stews, and it just grows like wildfire. But it's not a specific garden. As you can see, the stinging nettles have made their way into this one too. But the clover is so tall. What do you do with clover, by the way? Anybody got a good solution for that? I have to say I've never tried to dye with it. I don't even know if you can. I'd have to look it up. But we have so much clover. You have lovage growing this as well? I think I might actually dry some of that out before it goes to seed. It hasn't quite gone to seed yet. But the biggest successful of all, oh yeah, the chives are fully in bloom over there. Only supposed to be 100, oh my gosh, you guys are definitely having a heat wave. I heard they were having like a heat dome kind of a thing. There's the chives. We let them go to seed because, well, we've had our fill. We picked lots of it. It's all over the village. But here, if I don't move too fast, down here is the big surprise. Clover, you smoke them. I don't think so, Torben. Look! The woad has gone to seed for the first time. So it takes the first year, you can see the ones next to them. These are the first year plants down here that Lila planted this year. But the ones she planted last year, this is last year, this is the first time we've ever had them go to seed. And from what I understand, it could take 3 years to get a flower, but it looks like we've got flowers already in year 2. But that's what if you get any detail there, that's what the tops look like. Because I could have swore I've seen these out in the wild. I just didn't know how to recognize them based on their petals. Because there's another one called Yellow Jacket that grows all alongside roads and ditches, and it's not the same kind of a flower. And then we have some more weeding to do there, but we'll let that go to seed intentionally so that it'll spread around a bit. We've expanded the garden, but we haven't actually dug it out yet. So that's my great news for today. Sorry, but is it just me, or do those leaves look like they have a blue hue to you? Because I think it looks kind of bluish. You can see my hand, my white hand for lack of color. I have lack of color in my hand. Okay, so I'm going to put this over here, and when Karl comes out, we can play. So what did you guys do this week? Axe throwing. Nella, oh, I'm sorry, I'm right into the drip. Sorry, maybe I'll do it this way. Maybe I get less drip here. Ooh. Anyway, okay. So, let's see. Nella said she hoped her woad will bloom this year too, but not so sure that it will. I wasn't sure that ours was gonna. I thought I read that it takes 3 years, but this one, Lila said it looked. I think it's just because Lila planted it. Lila's got really good. Lila and Lisa, they're very good with plants. So now I'll catch up and see who's here. Torben, were you the first one? Torben, you were, and I only created this link like 6 minutes to go. I had a bachelor party with me today. That was fun. I got to entertain 18 men. But Karl found a plan to attract young women. He'll have to tell you about that later. Oh, Garcia made it second. So Bergen is windy mama, I'm coming home. It hasn't been too windy here though. I can turn it this way. The wind for the most part, oh, there's a nice big bird there. I don't know if you can see, the wind for the most part has stayed above the mountains, but if it goes through, do you see him up there? He's kind of big. And okay, so those of you know, is that a crow even though he's gray on the stomach? I think it's in the family though. It's not a raven. Let's see if I can get even. No, there he goes. Anyway, lots of questions for you today. Okay, I'll let you look down that, whoops, up, that way while I catch up on chat. But no, so it hasn't been too windy here. It's just been off and on heavy rain. But it's kind of nice. It's not too cold, although we're starting to get cold now. A bit disappointed. Nobody told me chèvre was a smelly kind of cheese. Is it? I didn't know that. Is it called chèvre? Am I saying that right? Garcia's here. Hello. And she's number 2, says Torben. Holland is 22 degrees and sunny. Wow, everyone's got nice weather. We have had the sun peek out a couple times today, though, and when it does, it's beautiful. But we really did need the rain. The rivers on the way between Oslo and here are starting to fill up a bit, which is nice to see. They were, I think, down 60%. Garden camping, that sounds fun. Daytime camping, painting and spinning yarn in the tent in a bit of a Viking feeling. Oh, Garcia, that sounds like so much fun. I actually do kind of miss my tent until it involves packing. Then I don't miss it anymore. Limburg cheese, she says to try. It's the most smelly one, Torben. Oh my God. What is it with you guys and smelly cheese? So Karl and I brought at least 5 cheeses today. We thought we were going to play either Secret Hitler or Crimes Against Humanity because we have a lot of employees now, but we don't have any Vikings in the village this weekend. But as of next weekend, they're coming every week. This is the last school week of the year for Norway. Nella's been mainly feeding the mosquitoes. I get what you're saying there. And there's Ann Decker. Good to see you back. I so miss Zoom. It's going to be a while before I can do Sundays again. But I have a feeling if I'm up late on a Saturday night, 2 a.m. in the morning or something like that, then I will definitely log on to the first session just for fun. So we'll see if I ever have a late night. We don't start until 10 o'clock on Sundays. Heidi Lisa is here. Your brother just left. He said he had to go home and get dry. He was too cold. I even tried to tempt him to stay with beer, but he wasn't falling for any of my tricks. And then Karin Hollick is here. Kiwi's here. Lindsay Langley is here. Clover, you smoke them. No. What do you do with clover? We have lots. It's all over the roofs, too. Although we want to keep them on the roofs. I see we have a couple of trees growing up there again, so I don't know if you can see them. But we have to get a kid up there to pull them down. You worked and baked bread, Torben. That's good. I don't even know how to bake bread. Last time I tried it, I made a rock to bake bread. Okay, so Nella says those woad should be blooming on the 2nd year. Okay, for some reason I thought I wrote somewhere it took 2 to 3 years for full growth, but it might have been a bad link too. Or I'm just remembering it wrong. Kiwi did some fabric dyeing this week. First time dyeing fabrics. How did that go? I haven't tried it yet. I mean, wool fabric I've dyed. I remember we threw some wool in there, but linen I have a hard time getting it to stick to, and I haven't actually really tried it. Give you a little view here if you want to see up at the waterfall up there. It's kind of cool. Let's see. Don't know if you can see that. It's pouring nicely. Actually, if I go on the other side here, then you can see the big waterfall up top. Let's see. Give you something more fun to look at than my wet hair and the massive cold sore. And there we are. Oh, Matthew Hams is here from Egan, Minnesota. See, I know how to pronounce that. Guess why? I'm from Minnesota. 70s Fahrenheit. Okay, Fahrenheit. So Egan, yeah, Egan and Minneapolis area is about similar to the temperature that we have around here. Is how I've always said it. I'm from Duluth, which is a bit colder than where I am here. Albert is here. He's on his way home from Hammer Medieval Festival. How was it? I used to go there every year since like 2012. So I haven't missed it. I haven't been there since the year before COVID because I started working here. I gotta say, though, it is nice not having to pack a tent all the time, but I do miss all the people I saw there. Insomnia could be useful. Okay, so if I get some insomnia, Ann Decker, I am coming to your Zoom. I miss it. You solve all my Nalbinding problems. And Albert bought a bow. What kind of bow did you get? And did you buy it from Terje Floberg? He has some really nice ones. Okay, so Ann's got a clover solution. Clover fixes nitrogen that feeds grasses, reducing the need for fertilizer application because clover helps maintain soil moisture and suppress weeds. Oh, that's good to know, actually, about the weed thing. Clover lawns require less water and herbicide. Herbicide, if I said that right. Oh, cool. But can you color with it, do you think? I've never tried. I know you can eat clover, if I remember correctly. Oh, Torben's making lasagna. I made that last week. It's good. Yours will probably be better. The mountains in the rain are absolutely gorgeous. You are not kidding. Let's see. I'll go out a little bit. It's my favorite. Everything looks so nice and fresh, so I don't mind rainy weather here at all. Oop, wrong way. There. Okay, Nella says, linen is and has been very difficult to dye with the natural dyes. In the Iron Age, people wearing colored linen would have been really wealthy. I have a tendency to agree with you. Okay, so, I mean, we've tried to make it stick, and if anything, it just looks like something peed on it. It doesn't really stick with the color, but I haven't really given it a good effort. I haven't tried treating them with ammonia, just vinegar or something. Kiwi says, oh, by the way, Albert was Death there this year. We kind of miss him. There's at the Hammer Medieval Festival, there's a guy named Robert Sverda who dresses up like Death, and he has a really convincingly cool costume, walks around with the scythe, and he's basically there to represent the plague. But we miss him. One year my kids were just in love with the creepy guy. So naturally they made themselves some Death costumes. Actually, Nalbound one of the tops. And went and walked around with Death, being mini Deaths one year. So we totally miss him. Now they're 13 and they wouldn't be caught dead doing stuff like that because, oh my God, public. Hopefully they'll come back. Oh, Eirik, I don't know that one. Selling bows. Clover is also good for bees, which is good. Oh, I see something coming. Something creepy this way comes. Yeah, there was the guy dressed like Death. That's Robert. We miss him. He's a lot of fun. Hi, Karl. Hello. Just in time. I ran out of chat. And we looked at all the plants growing. It's so cool. Did you see the garden where Yenny's house was? It's like up to the waist now. I can do it this way, but it's kind of dark to see us. Whoop. Let's go. There. Ta-da! It's a Karl. So we're basically just admiring the rain.
I was hoping to have a legitimate excuse to eat one of Toral's decorative fish.
We ate the do you want... Oh, go get one. Go off the chieftain hall. There's like 5 of them. Grab one off the end, but make them nice and spaced out. And then you can tell us about the fish while I show them somebody over there who's enjoying the rain. You see him? There's all his wool. Hey, dude. Do you need company? Look how much his wool has grown in just 2 weeks. And this is the only time you can see the birthmark on his back. I don't think it's a birthmark, but I like to call it that. Hi, dude. He's looking for treats. Yep, this is Grotas. Grotas is starting to go more brown now. He started out gray, then he went white, and now he's kind of going brown. And he's showing us his better side, apparently. They've been up mowing the lawn, as we call it. Should never go on it. Oh, hello. Mowing the lawn up the hill there with Marie. If you go to Viking Valley on Facebook, you'll see a story. In the story, I put a picture of her having the sheep up there for a walk so they can help work on the grass height. But you can see how rainy it's been here. This part of their sheep pen is mostly mud now, but the other sides are better. Bruntas. You could be Bruntas, which means like Grotas is the gray one, so Bruntas would be the gray one, the brown one. All right, show us what you got. It's starting to rain a little bit, so maybe we should go back into hiding. Yeah? Gotta hold it still so they can see. So this is what I put on the picture today. What is the difference between this and the white stuff? Show the other side too, the skin. Yeah. And look what they did with how they do it with the tails. You actually don't need it on a string. We can just stick it right over the stick like that. Do you want to explain the process of that, Karl? The fish drying? Oh, you might have to.
It's so fatty that we don't really need to do anything about it. You just split it and you hang it up. Some people, I think, salt it a little bit, but if you salt it too much, it becomes something else.
How many of those have you eaten now? They gave us 28. We put 7 on 3
I haven't
places.
eaten more than four or five of them.
You've only been eaten more than 4 or 5. So we've now decided that 3 per location is an acceptable number.
Yeah, but these are going to fall apart. I can see that this one is starting
Yeah.
to get soft already.
Yeah, how are they falling? This year I noticed at the very end here, if you hold it that way, you can see it's been dripping oil and it's kind of starting to solidify there.
Yeah, that's normal. They do,
Yeah.
they do that.
Yeah, they're good though. That's the good
It's
part.
too fat to rot, really. So.
But why are they getting so soft?
Because it's too moist. They should
yeah.
be kept at least out of the rain, if not indoors.
Yeah. Should we go here? Okay, have you ever had dried fish? If you want to try. What kind of fish did... Okay, some people are calling it a herring. I still think it's a mackerel.
It's a herring.
It is a herring.
Mackerel has this almost like track marks on their back. And they are not anywhere close to this fat. And mackerel is pretty fat fish too.
So how do you eat one of those? I saw Rune peels the skin off.
What I would normally do, and I'm not going to do that with this one because it's so soft, because it's been moistened throughout the rain of the day. If tomorrow I don't think I dare eat them anymore because of this moisture issue.
Really? Won't they keep? I mean, don't they just re-dry again, or can we put it over the fire a bit and re-dry them?
No, that's like re-drying potato chips. It doesn't really work.
Oh, then maybe we should take a couple of them inside then, because we don't need quite that
What I
many
would
hang-ons.
normally this would be a lot harder, and what I would do is to hit it with a stick a couple of times before I take the skin off.
That's what they call bunkfisk, which means well, smack fish or whatever, pound
that
fish.
would be more normal dry fish, because that would be even drier. This doesn't get completely dry because it's so fat. So I'll just autopsy it and eat it.
So do you peel the skin off too, like Rune does?
Normally, yeah.
How do you do it? I was gonna say, how do you peel the skin off on that one? I was having a trick to it. Do you start it with a knife or something?
No, you just find an edge somewhere and then
Yeah.
just peel it off like this.
It was a really fatty fish. I was kind of surprised. But I haven't had dried fish like that in a while. Just the white one, which is really flaky. The kind you get in the store.
This is not what it is. Not what a Norwegian person would refer to as dried fish.
No. Get the wool off there for you. The last time I had one like this was probably Gudvangen or all Viking Market, but a while ago there's a guy named Albert Karlsson that does this as well, shrinkmongering, or fishmongering. And there's a guy in Sweden that did it too, I forgot what his name was. So my kids would buy these all the time. Do you want me to take the bottom one off so it doesn't fall on the ground? Okay, so now there's bunkfisk, that one's turfisk, and plunkfisk. What are the different ways? You come from a fishing family.
This is not turfisk.
This is what?
Kubbesild, you would call it in Norwegian.
Kubbesild. What would that be in English, do you know? Cube herring?
What do you call that in English?
The stalk of wood?
The chopping
Chopping block?
So it would be something like block herring then.
Ah. Stump. You mean the tree stump? See, it might actually have some answers.
Log herring would be a good translation.
Log herring. Why would you call it log herring?
Who knows?
So you have to move this back a bit and I can read more here. It's just out of my vision. Lindsay Langley says, I scored a bunch of lopi from someone else's D-stash. Wow, that's a good find. Especially if it's the Alafos lopi, because apparently that has been, they've been such high demand because of the pandemic. Everyone started knitting, etc. but also because of people who are processing it. I forget what it was exactly, but I did look it up anyway. But yeah, they were having issues at the factory in Iceland, producing it fast enough because they couldn't meet up with the massive demand. Anyway, so it's hard. People are having a hard time getting it because it's backlogged. Okay, there's lutefisk. What is lutefisk?
Fish in caustic soda, and you wash out the caustic soda, and you have this gelatinous mass left that you think are still fish, and then you eat it.
Cover it with bacon though, and so much butter that you don't realize there's fish in there
Yeah, no,
anymore.
all the other things in a lutefisk meal are really good. So you kind of forget about the jellyfish-looking
Gelatinous fish.
sad thing that is the actual main course.
Yeah. So caustic soda, in Norway, you can remove paint with it, you can clean your drains with it, or you can make lutefisk and eat it. And then what's plunkfisk? Plunkfisk is something I've also seen. Do you know what that is?
No?
Okay, so plunkfisk, you get like a piece of wood, a plank of wood. Anyway, you get a plank of wood, and then you just kind of set it near a fire, but not in the fire, and you just put a piece of fish there and just spike it to the plank and let it dry that way. And it's another form of drying fish, but we call it plunkfisk. But that would also lead to bunkfisk, though, the kind that you have to. What's the reason why they call it bunkfisk? What do you have to do for that one? Do you remember I don't want to get it wrong anyway.
If it is proper dried fish, it is so hard that you kind of have to soften it up a little bit before you eat it. So you beat it with a rock or a stick or something.
Can you rehydrate dried fish?
Yes, but
For
only
soups and
once, I
stuff?
will say.
Really? We thought about making soup for it once. My cats actually wouldn't touch the dry fish. They love the smell. They went around it. That stuff they'd probably eat if it wasn't too oily for them. But you can see how much oil is coming off on his fingers there. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. You show the other hand. That's the oily one. Okay. Let's see. I'll catch a little bit up on chat, and then I'll tell you what I did today. And Karl's brilliant plan to capture women.
What?
Oh yeah, you had a good idea. Oh, and then Holger. Oh, this is fun. Okay, so we had a bachelor party coming in today. And we were thinking of ways to entertain them. 18 guys, somewhere between the ages of, like 25 and 35. All very sporty. Dried herring, or as we call it, salmonella, says Torben. Let's see, then it was about here. Turtfisk says Heidi. Yep, she also says. Is it smoked? Yeah, that one is smoked, by the way. We actually do have a little smoking house. We haven't tried using that in a long time. Is that a way that you can dry out that fish, or is that just still lost at this point?
You want to smoke something, you want to smoke it fresh.
Stokvis in Dutch. Did I read that right? Let's see. Stokvis in Dutch is what Garcia says it is. Oh yeah, lutefisk is only seen at Christmas, most likely, yeah. And fish-flavored jelly is also a great description. So, how important would dried fish be for Vikings, Karl?
It's good provisions. You don't have to heat it, you don't have to add water, you don't have to dig around with it at all. You can just... you get a lot of protein per square inch, to put it like that.
But you have to keep it dry? Apparently?
Yes, but not more than other food.
No, okay.
So
you do think that what would they take on these long voyages? Just dry fish and beer?
bread, most likely.
Flatbread? Or like knäckebröd?
Probably yes. No, not knäckebröd, but like flatbread.
Yeah.
We kind of have this great leavened bread debate.
Leavened bread, yeah.
We found out about this when we were working on it. That was your contact, the bread woman.
Yeah.
There is finds of bread with yeast in it, so bread that has risen a little bit. But they find this suspicious because it's a burnt sacrifice. So it's possible that everything was laid out long in advance, and then just because of natural processes, the bread started to rise before they actually burned the sacrifice. So we don't know if they what it looks like is what we in Norwegian would call a rundstykke, or in English a bun.
Yeah.
But we don't know if that is what it was supposed to be. If the Vikings understood the concept of rising dough. We're not sure.
There was something else. Okay, so Siri a while back was making a beer, a mead, I think it was, with humle, or no, what was it she used? Some sort of grain, barley. Are you going hiding? Oh, he went to show something. We can go over there, but it's going to be dark over there. Your fish? You have the other half of fish here. It's kind of fun to watch you eat it. I'll put this way over there, though. Yeah, so she was... Oh, klippfisk is best. What's klippfisk, by the way?
Klippfisk is dried and very salty fish.
Yeah?
That one you moisturize before you
Rehydrate.
eat.
Yeah. That is good, actually. I like klippfisk. And also, Siri was making beer once, and I don't know if she was using barley or grain or whatever, but then Ivar was also making some, and he brings back all the leftover grain that's been beer soaked or whatever. Do you want to explain that process? Because I'll get it wrong.
I'm not sure, because I never bothered to talk to either one of them about
Oh, okay.
it. But I believe it's the same thing you do as when you make sourdough.
Oh.
You can't, in the olden days, you don't go to the shop to buy yeast. You get yeast naturally by letting something get old. And if you keep a little bit of your dough every time you make bread, then that dough naturally has yeast in it, and the next time you make bread, you just use a piece of the dough from last time, adding it into the rest of your dough.
I didn't know that.
And I'm assuming what he did was basically the beer brewing variation of that. But now I'm just assuming like crazy, because I didn't talk to either one of them. And they are not the most communicative of people when it comes to distributing their knowledge.
Oh, yeah, no, they gotta keep it close to their hearts.
No, it's just that they can't talk.
They're too busy brewing and baking?
Yes.
So he brings these, it's a bag full of these, I think it looks like barley, or maybe it's oat, I don't know, but it's a grain anyway, and it's completely beer soaked, basically. So when you open the bag, it smells literally like a can of beer, or a bottle of beer. And he gives it to Gudvangen, who's got a bunch of it. Gudvangen was the one that was singing, the mom that was singing here not too long ago, a couple episodes back. And she goes and uses it in bread, mixes it with some other stuff, and I think does it have enough yeast in it already, or from that stage, or I can't remember.
I would say so, almost certainly it's already been used for beer brewing.
Yeah.
So the only circumstance where it wouldn't have yeast in it is if the fermentation process has produced so much alcohol that it's killed all of it.
Yeah.
Which I don't.
And the problem with a question mark, but the problem with it is it really, really tastes of beer once it's done too. It's good, but it's got a strong beer taste to it. I don't know if she's doing something more unique, but it's almost to the point where I'm not sure we should feed that to children, but there's no alcohol in it, but anymore.
I have to get used to the taste sooner or later.
It's hard to be a Viking kid. Have you guys ever tried that, by the way? Jaring and jarklut is something the Vikings might have used. Let's see, jar being the Norwegian word for yeast. Kiwi says they've been making Finnish rye bread that way, using part of the dough from last week to make each more batch. I did not know that, each new batch. I learned something new today. There's a name for that leftover grain. It's a thing with homebrewing. We did have a name for that. I just can't remember what it was called. But anyway, I thought that was kind of an efficient way to do it. So, Karl, speaking of beers, actually before we get into that beer, Torben, I listened to your last podcast. I'm all caught up now. And apparently, one of your minions or co-conspirators found the most expensive beer in the Vinmonopolet, and I think it was Winterbrew. Mash, that could be it. It was carrot beer. So did you guys buy that, or did you just kind of go in awe of the 1,000 kroner price that beer cost? And carrot brew beer. How in the hell do you make beer with carrot? That one kind of had me intrigued. I don't know. So here, Karl, here's my stupid question for the week. Did the Vikings make beer with carrots?
I very much doubt it, because carrots back in the Viking Age didn't look anything like carrots do today. They were about half the size and kind of whitish.
Yeah? Or did they have the red ones here?
No,
Just the white ones?
I believe so, and I don't remember. I might be wrong, but I don't remember any references to carrots at all. The Vikings are extremely fascinated by angelica plants and onions, but they don't seem to give a duck about the carrots.
Angelica plant, that's the lovage, isn't it? The one that's growing over there?
Kvam in Norwegian.
Oh, kvam. No, it's a different one then. Okay. So there you go. I need to know more about. You've ordered it. He ordered the 1,000 kroner carrot beer. Now, are you going to share that when everything? I can't imagine you can put a top back on it and just save it like a fine wine. So I'm kind of wondering what you guys are going to do with that. But I gotta say, Torben, probably the highlight of your podcast is listening to you critique beer. He goes on this. I mean, you're like Karl when he goes on a rant about the cutoff of the Viking Age or etc. or something. Watching an episode of Vikings, the way you critique beer. Anyway, so I'm always looking forward to the next beer critique. However, I'm kind of with your friends and thinking you should get a shitty one every time, because every time you have a crappy beer, it is the 5-minute rant from hell compared with old socks and diaper stink, and it's really good. So I need to see. So yes, I will stay tuned. We will catch up on that one. Okay, so you decided to try a new beer, Karl.
Oh, it's not a beer. It was a cider, and it was a big mistake.
And you decided not to. I told him just get one so you can taste it. No, he bought 6 of them. So go ahead, tell him about your cider beer and your plan to get rid of the other 5.
They taste like, if you take some kind of fruit, some kind of exotic and probably good fruit, and then you just dunk it in perfume, and then you run it by some alcohol, then you have this horrible concoction.
Do you want to tell him what it was called? Do you remember the name?
Well, I don't remember the name. My brain just deleted it.
Greven's beer, but the Greven's cider. So it's by Greven's, but it's lychee and lime.
Yeah.
So you have to see. Oh, Karin says you must try our cider. Feel free to send some. I'm not sure if it'll make it through customs, but I think they would. Oh, the podcast, Albert, is called Karantenapils. It's in Norwegian, in the Sogna dialect. So everything is, the A with a circle on over it is usually pronounced in a very wonderful Minnesotan way. Oh, like phone and boat, but no, I've figured it out. I've cracked the code of your dialect. They say ow. So po is ow, boat is bout. No is now. So that was my favorite thing, is picking up all of those. For a while I couldn't figure out why you kept talking about POW, and here I'm thinking, is that like prisoner of war or like a power up in a game? And here it literally just means on or at. Lindsay says, in early American history, the story of Johnny Appleseed. Yeah, going around randomly planting apples wasn't for food, it was for fermenting into cider. Actually, I remember that from school. Anyway, but yeah, if you can handle the Norwegian, that Karantenapils is absolutely awesome. I think at least in the last 6 episodes, you've been talking. It's just so hilarious. Just listen to him evaluate beer. So Karin Berber says that we need to try their cider. Definitely bring it. I have some really weird looking IPA that I found at a
Karin Berber is Torben's.
I know, that's what I mean. She has to bring it by here.
I don't think she would have any problem getting it through customs.
No, she wouldn't. I was thinking it was Karin Hollock at first. So I correct myself. But anyway, yeah, no, bring it, because I have that weird looking IPA I found in the used by this date store, so I'm pretty sure it's fresh. Funny, I think it was called like hazy something. Okay. Anyway, so what's your plan for getting rid of this, the rest of these beers? You have 6 or 5 left. Ciders.
Give them to girls.
What kind of girls are you going to give them to? Just
any kind of girls.
Young, fresh, well-shaped?
No, it doesn't matter, because I'm only going to drink one of them. I'm not going to time multiples because it's so hard. But I will probably be grateful when I get them, and then I'll curse my name when I'm halfway done with it.
We thought maybe Louisa would like it because that's all she eats is fruits and nuts. So
Yeah, I think it would have to be hand brewed by vegan nuns for her to drink it.
maybe. She's got a very unique diet. Karin taking the pills on Spotify. Yeah, I'll check that one out. Oh, Adrian's here as well. He said that Saunamaul dialect, the A turns into E or I, and the O turns into Au. Very well explained. So the other thing I did this week, first on the Viking Valley Facebook page, you can see a picture that a little video clip of Rune Heidi showing people how to do the stick game, where you have to take a stick and bring it all around over your body and then sideways back again or something. There's just no way in hell I'm flexible enough to do that, so I'm not going to do it. But I think we've showed it a couple times on YouTube, at least when we had the Insta Vikings here the first time they did that. We had Espen Meek, who is some kind of a fighter guy anyway, that's got like 1 million fans or something. And he couldn't do it, he fell on his ass. What is that called? He's not a boxing, he's a extreme sports kind of a fighting.
MMA?
Not MMA. Maybe. Anyway, but I think it's like a no hold bars kind of boxing. UFC fighting champion, that's what he was. Of Norway, or at least up there. Anyway, but it was kind of fun to see, you know, they must not get much more athletic than that, and couldn't do it. That was probably about 2 years ago now.
Somebody loses every one of those tournaments as well.
Somebody loses one of those tournaments every...
Yeah, so Ultimate Fighter Championship is...
Oh, somebody's got to get smacked in the head.
I think that they basically let everybody in. So
Yeah?
it's a very low barrier to entry, but you have to be pretty good to win the bloody thing.
Well, he must be doing pretty well, so everybody kept talking about it, an idea of who the heck he was. Nice guy anyway, though, and then I go and check and he's got like 1 million followers on Facebook or on Instagram or something like that. And I thought, okay, so I guess he's got a following. Anyway, so it wasn't quite for everyone. Albert says, send it to him and he can drink that one, Karl. The lychee and lime. He's the one that thought you'd like the raspberry beer from Sheen.
Oh God, then he has fucked up enough taste to actually like this.
Yeah, he would like it then. He liked that one, although I remember Charlotte was saying there's no way in hell you're going to like that. She didn't like it either.
I remembered the bloody red bear thing from last summer, so I was positively surprised when this thing wasn't red.
No, it was just regular, I don't know, it was even lighter looking than Corona.
It looked like lemon soda.
Mm.
Very
Yeah,
sparkly.
yeah, like lemon soda.
But it tasted like fucked up perfume.
Yeah. So I'm kind of curious what color the carrot beer is going to look like in the process of that, and naturally Torben's critique of it, what he's going to compare it to this time.
Torben should try the red bear, by the
Yeah.
way.
Torben, you got to come on a Saturday around YouTube time once, and they can listen to your wonderful dialect and hear you explain beer. Let's see. Arlene is here. Hello. Yes, you are now all fluent in Sogning, says Torben. Oh, and Adrian wants one too. Apparently you're too old to drink that beer, Karl. You have to be under the age of 25.
You have to be addicted to perfume.
To be addicted to perfume. Okay, so, now the rain's picking up. Okay, so today, anyway, so I posted this video of Heidi showing him how to do the stick thing, and then you can see Dordai in her really long woolen Viking clothing, and she's not much younger than me anyway, but she gets one leg over the thing finally. That takes a little while, and the kids are like already on like step 2, just kind of waiting patiently for mom to catch on. And then she's got to get the other leg up, and she just can't do it, and she gives up. And I gotta say, she made it a lot farther than I would. I don't even think I'd be able to get one leg through. So there was that. But then I also get we got a lot of comments on that one, actually, about people saying that they had played that game as a kid. And one didn't know that it had Viking roots. Do you think that has Viking roots, by the way, that game? She calls it walking over the stick or go over pinden.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know of any references to it.
Yeah.
But that's the thing with games. It is... for us to know anything at all about it, it has to be important enough in some story for a saga author to actually mention it.
Yeah.
And the saga authors can go through a whole winter by just saying the sentence, den vinteren satt han hjemme på fars gard.
That winter
Meaning,
he said it.
That winter he was at his father's farm.
Mm.
They don't care about immaterial details. When they tell a story, a little anecdote about something that happens, it's always important to describe the characters it basically happens to.
Mm.
So the story of Harald Harada and the porridge gives a very good impression of how Harald Harada's personality works. And also the story of Harald Harada playing with toys
Yeah.
is illustration of what kind of person he is. So that's when they would add these stories.
Mm.
For them to mention anything if it isn't relevant to the character progression, so to speak, it would have to be super epic. And generally speaking, games of this sort doesn't go in the category of super epic.
Mm. So you're going to lure women in with the beer, the cider, the lychee lime. No. I played with young men today, 18 of them, and Angela wanted you to know that I handled 18 bachelors all by myself for 2 hours.
You had a tall Russian girl to help you.
I did, but she only had to play dramatic drum music. It was awesome. They were those guys were so competitive. So they're basically, their goal was, okay, we're having a bachelor party. We want to come to your village to do this, but we want to play games. So, okay, so I start going through videos actually on YouTube. If you look up Viking Games and get past all the digital ones, you can find a few of them anyway. There were some pretty good videos. And as I'm going through them, most of these I've seen before at other Viking markets, like the stick game. But I wanted to pick out some that would be entertaining for tourists to watch as well, because there you got 18 guys making a lot of noise, and this can be both a distraction for the village that's kind of irritating for anyone trying to follow along on a tour guide and try to hear their guide. Or it could be incredibly entertaining, and you can just sit there and film them going, oh my god, look at these guys do this stupid stuff. Naturally, I made them do stupid stuff. So there was one, I've been calling it Marco Polo, but it's not Marco Polo, obviously. But they have a Viking chest that they put in the middle, and each gets to have, let's see, I can do this. So you got a chest, can you see this here? Yeah, maybe. Nope, just a little too low. So you stand at one end and I stand at the other head, Karl. Okay, you hold that. I'm not gonna hit you with the head. Okay, so this is just basically a sack with a little bit of wool in it. It's actually cleaned wool just in case though. But it's soaking wet right now, so it's got a lot of...
Wet, so I would say this has enough...
Uh-huh.
It has enough oomph to be painful.
I'm not gonna smack you with it. Okay, anyway, so you have the Viking chest. The Viking chest is a little bit longer, a little bit higher, and a lot more solid, so it, you know, won't wobble as much. But you each have to have, he has his hand on one end and I have my hand on the other. And you're both blindfolded. And I say, Karl! And he says, yes. And I say, can I hit you with my sack? And he says, yes. And then I smack the crap out of him. But the rule is you can move anywhere you want as long as that one hand stays. So you can go around anywhere you want. But as soon as Karl says yes, as in I can hit him, both hands have to stay still, and he can duck or dive or try to get out of the way. But basically when he's speaking, he's trying to trick him and saying where he is and then moving. Or maybe you expect him to do that. And people just kind of... It was absolutely hilarious to watch. So I took a video of it. I forgot to ask him for permission if I can use it. So I will send him an email and I will post that on YouTube if I can. I have no idea what that game is called. I've just been calling it Marco Polo because it kind of sounds like Marco Polo. There. If anyone knows. But that one was absolutely, they had so much fun playing that game. Let's see, I'll stand on this side and there's such pretty waterfalls behind me. I don't know if you can see it. Anyway, there.
The waterfalls are multiplying.
The waterfalls are multiplying like mad. There's even down there now too. I love it. My friends in the 50s, is Arlene, or is in their 50s, are playing the stick game and they love it. It's gone the giggles, but they can do it. Oh wow! See, you know, I'm turning 50 later this year and I can't do it, but it might have something to do with a little bit of girth and a lot of Minimal flexi time. I'm not a yoga patient. Torben says Vikings and music. What instruments do they use? Flutes and drums, or do they have something more musical like guitars, etc.? Oh, that's a good question. You like the smacking game, says Arlene.
I believe that I had the lyre. I'm not an expert here, but at least one of the lyre finds seems to be from correct age and context.
And her Selvik uses one that Don Shaw made him. In his, if you want to see what those look like. But what do you think about those for? They used horsehair for the strings.
As I just said, I'm not an expert, but
No.
I believe there is at least one find of a lyre, and some finds of parts that most likely belong to lyres. So the lyre is kind of a pleasant instrument because, unlike many other instruments, even if you have no fucking clue what you're doing, the music isn't painful to listen to.
No. What about, there's another one I've seen which is kind of cool, Shell Broughton, I think I saw it with first, but they should have actually sold them. They take a bunch of shells from the beach, dry them out, oyster shells probably, blue oyster ones, and put holes through them and kind of tie them with the string.
Some maracas.
Yeah, like a maraca, but then they put it on their wrists or the legs and do the, so you kind of one-man band sort of thing.
That's a little bit more suspicious.
Yeah? I thought it makes a cool sound. You can do it with bones too.
Yeah, but
Teeth.
anything we have today, the Vikings could have had if they just knew how to make it.
Yeah.
Or they had any interest in making it.
Those weird somewhere.
The ocarina was also in use in the Viking Age. But
Ocarina, what is that?
it's what we call leirgauke in Norwegian. It's a ceramic flute.
Oh, the little
with
round
like
one.
2 holes in it.
Yeah.
Sometimes more. They vary a lot.
It looks like really round.
Later, in the medieval times, they start putting water in them. Thankfully, they didn't do that in the Viking Age. So when little Hungarian
I have
bastard
4.
tries to sell water flutes on our Viking markets, I can just go, nope, not authentic.
They're now officially banned for sale. I mean, if a kid has one before and he brings it, we can't really do anything about that.
We can break it.
Well, behind closed doors, I'll never know.
You
But
can
no, we
break-
don't let them sell them anymore because they then we have like 20, 30 kids running around with these things and you can't hear, the customers can't hear the guides. So,
No, and
but I have 4 of them.
yes. Your kids are too big to annoy me on purpose now.
Yeah.
But it was such a chore guiding Norwegian groups in the markets when we were selling those things.
Yeah.
Because they're dirt cheap, so the kids buy them. And then they just have them in their mouth, and whether they're breathing in or out, it's going through the bloody bird whistle. And it goes... And I know that it's not really the kid's fault. The kid is just a kid. It's the parent I should be angry at. But on the other hand, kids are light enough for me to actually physically throw them over the walls. Parents are not.
Okay, how about tagelharp? I'm not exactly sure what a tagelharp is. I know the word obviously, but I can't. I don't want to get it wrong.
I've heard
But,
the term, but I don't know what it is.
Isn't
so I
that the
can't-
one where it's like a bunch of metal pieces sticking out and you just go boing, boing, boing and it makes music? Bit like a piano. I don't know. I might be getting it completely wrong.
I don't know.
I used to know what it is, but for some reason it just escapes me right
There
now.
are some things that people just so very, very, very much want to be Viking that you will see the dumbest kind of evidence being presented as this thing existed in the Viking Age. It has to, because I love it. I think that happens a lot with musical instruments. It certainly happens a lot with a lot of tools. The double-chambered bellows for blacksmiths, for instance, is a clear example.
Yeah.
Because they're super practical. But here's the kicker. The Vikings had slaves. They are not looking for practical. Because what the fuck am I supposed to do? If I have super practical bellows that I can use alone, and I don't need my slave for anything, is he just supposed to sit outside the door and wait for me to finish blacksmithing? I want to keep my slave active, for God's sake. I don't want him to just wither away and become useless.
Okay, I have to have you hold the camera here. I did a really new creative... this is the first time I've ever made this mistake in needle binding. Let's see if I hold it up to here. I skipped a loop. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not just... I just skipped it. I don't know how... I don't think I've ever done that before, where you just, instead of going in the next one, you just skip it, and then you do like 2 more rows and go, why does that look funny? But you know what? I'm not going back. It's such a small stitch, it makes like no difference. So I think I'm going to feed it through the other side and just kind of tack it down, and no one will ever know. Except for you guys now, because I told you. How the hell did I do that? Anyway, I have to point it out.
You should put up the price on that hat.
Oh yeah, no, that's going to be major expensive now because it's imperfect. So, and nothing is perfect except for God himself, right? So we're all imperfect. I'm going that route. Okay, what other games did we play today? There was another fun one. I've been calling it Bear Birth. I can't remember what it is. But okay, this was absolutely hilarious to get those guys to do. So they split up into, they were in 2 teams anyway, going against each other. So you get 2 guys from the opposing team. The opposing team anyway, and one of them lays down this way with his, it's 69 the way they're laying basically. I was sitting there going, okay, you gotta, head to toe, the other one's gotta be on top, and I'm like, no, not like that, the other way around, and all of a sudden one guy screams out, 69! I'm like, okay, well that's not wrong. Anyway, so they're laying down like 69. But before the second guy, the guy on top gets on, another guy from the other team then, so this is the mama bear, anyway, is the one team. And then you have the bear cub. And he has to lay this way across. So basically the stomachs are matching up. And then the other guy goes on top in their 69 position, and they grab onto each other's legs as tight as they can. And they're squeezing as hard as they can like a sandwich. It's a human sandwich, yeah. So the cub then has to try to weasel out. And they don't want the cub to weasel out. And they have the exact opposite matchup going along next to him, and the first cub to get out scores points for their team. This was so entirely interesting it was so hilarious to watch.
Did you do any kind of decisions on who is what based on size?
I let them choose. I said, this is what you're going to have to do. And okay, the first time they did, when they're like, as soon as they saw the guys laying down, and they suddenly the wheels started turning in their head, and like, yeah, nej, preben. Du och Daniel, you 2 have to do this. You're this size, and you have to, and they're getting all lined up. Okay, you with the bad back, you don't get to be the bear cub, but Kevin, you're going to be the bear cub because you're so skinny.
I don't know of references to this game, but some that used to do it in Viking markets, and there was Swedish people doing it. They called the game Att föda björnen.
Att föda björnen, yeah, to birth the bear in Sweden, yeah. That's where I've learned the name
but,
too.
But the way I understood how they did it was a little bit more dickish than what you do.
What did you do? Okay,
they
come and show.
They picked out the 2 biggest guys they could find to be the bear vulva.
So they were basically like a barrel?
Yeah, imagine 2 guys at close to 200 kilos each on the sides of the bear vagina. And then you take the smallest guy, probably around 60 kilos, to be the bear cub. He doesn't have a fucking chance.
No, because you got the 2 big beer guts smashing into each other.
Yes.
Well, every bear vagina is different. What can I say? But that was absolutely entertaining to watch. I did get a little video clip of that game and the sack game. I just have to get permission before I put it out anyway. I don't think they'll have any problem with it. They were really good sports. But I'll try to...
but if they have a problem with it, we can always use our own people to...
Oh yeah, who would we match up for this? And who gets to be the bear cub and who gets to be the vagina?
No, that's obvious. You use Roger and Tor Erik to be the vagina, and then you use Toril as the cub.
I don't think she would do that. Her back would be in such pain. Heidi could do it though. She's flexible.
Juliana maybe.
Juliana's also tiny and skinny. Okay, so then we did the stick games.
It's tempting to suggest Marie, but she would just murder them.
Marie would just take an axe to their packages and the vagina would be disassembled. So then there was another one. I can't do that. I can't show this really well because I'm not very flexible. So in the very last one, I made them do a race to see which one got from one side to the other side faster. And You don't just run. You have to go this way. You can't walk forward. You have to cross your leg backwards to go forward. But I can't do that. And I have to kind of do it in a jumping way to do it. Come over here. You try it. Your skinny legs. Go over here. Let's see you do it. You got to lift. No, all the way over there.
Don't get forward by putting my legs behind each other.
That's kind of, yeah, they had to kind of do like a jump and twist in the air. Come on, try it. I wanna see.
Woman, I'm not going to jump and twist in the air for your amusement.
It would be good. Torben wants to see it.
Of course he does.
If Torben wanted you to do it, would you do it?
How do you think my brain works?
A couple of more beers and we'll have them. Okay, so that was a fun one. Oh, and then there's what Tor likes to call the magic stick.
Yeah.
You have to explain this because you're not wearing a dress. Here, use this as your stick. So you need a stick about this long, and you need.
And it should be an actual stick, not a sword, ideally.
And you take a knife, and you stick it in a pole. Okay, and then what do you have to do, Karl? Let's lower the camera here.
You have to hold this with both hands, but you have to hold it with both hands between your legs.
So here's the stick Karl has to hit. Oh wait, no, we got to go even lower. This is funny. Okay, so Karl, you have to go sideways profile, and you have to try to hit the stick. So happy is key here. If you're happier, if your stick is happy, you'll get it.
You're happy and you know which shake your stick.
Your profile picture on Facebook, which you never actually go onto Facebook, but anyway, if you're wondering what Karl's doing in his profile, that picture's got to be about 15 years old. And
no,
this is what you're doing.
From...
You're trying to knock the knife out of the...
It's like 12 years old.
Yeah, go ahead, do it again. So this was highly entertaining to make them line up and do this. Some got real serious and started stripping off their clothes because, you know, t-shirts get in the way. That was absolutely funny.
So the way we do it now, I think you did it the old-fashioned way.
I did one hand. You should have actually had to do
no,
two. Yeah?
You did it the old-fashioned way with an actual knife.
Yeah?
We stopped doing that because hitting a knife with a stick can cause the knife to fly.
It did a little bit, but fortunately the knife was very dull, so I kept sticking it in a crack in the wall. It is so dull. It's my kid's knife. I don't think it's been sharpened in like 7 years, but it's actually stuck in a crack in the wall. It's not, I didn't actually put it in the ball, but that would be a better way to do
what
it.
Toril does now is that she takes a hat and puts on a stick and then she holds the stick.
That's a better, smarter way to do it. Fortunately, we do not serve, we're licensed to sell alcohol, but not licensed to serve it, so they can't walk around in the village with beer. So this was a sobering
we can, for
activity.
Some events, we can arrange that, but
Yeah.
then we have to use the license of
Hotel has a
the
license, yeah. If the hotel came and served it, then they're
The hotel
licensed.
is kind of responsible for serving around here.
Yep.
But we are not. We are supposed to be a family-friendly venue, and we are having axe throwing and archery as constantly running activities. And drunk people on those are not fun.
Let's see. Tegel harp is the 3-stringed instrument played with a bow. Oh, yeah, okay. I'm trying to think of what else we tried. I mean, there was the regular stick games where you try to have to go under and stuff. We should do these, and you try to get lower and lower. You have to hold the stick like this, and you go under, and still the stick can't come off the ground. It's in my hand. The stick can't leave the ground, and your hand can't leave the stick, and you can't. It's only your feet that are supposed to be on the ground anyway. And then if you get it at this height, then the next guy has to come and try to do it at that height, and you get lower and lower and lower, and it gets a bit limbo-ish. There were some other games we have to play, but I think we're gonna have to save this for maybe next time if we have great weather and we got a lot of Vikings here, or when we have more, we can make them do the games. There's so many, because now we're at like minute 64, and I'm having so much fun. Torben only heard 69, and that's about it. He said, I only heard 69 position. Oh, you beat, Albert says he beat Heidi in the going lower and lower. I bet you did. You're like a young, skinny Karl. You'd like, see, my ass would hit the ground and I'd still be standing. So I wouldn't be able to play.
I think that referring to somebody as a skinny Karl might be an insult.
No, everybody just saw you. You eat.
And
They
he
witnessed
doesn't?
you. He eats too. He's like a very little Karl. There's no fish left in there. No. But should we see you next week? We'll see who we get. I think Louisa actually went to go warm up. They've been outside in the rain all day. The last game was, what do you call that? The one with the appendage, or, you know, the one where you're trying to go under the stick. I think we just called it go under.
I think we refer to all of this as stick games
This
anyway.
is stick games, yeah. There's another one where you're, I didn't get to do this one, but you're basically sitting in a, you're sitting with your knees bent and your toes are touching each other. You know, so put your hand out. Yeah. So basically your feet are matched like this as you're sitting on the ground and your knees are bent. And then you each grab this. One grabs on the outside, the other one grabs on the inside. You can grab that. And you say go, and they have to pull, and whichever one doesn't keep his ass on the ground loses.
Okay. Yeah, so heaviest person wins.
The heaviest, well, yeah. Oh, but the thing is, then they took it one step further in this video. I thought this was really smart because I hadn't seen this adaptation before. The guy that couldn't keep his ass on the ground, they added a Viking woman behind him, and then they started again while she's giving him a bear hug, basically. And nope, he still got it to go. So, okay, this guy needed more weight, so they grabbed another Viking girl. Eventually, he had 3 Viking women hanging on to the back of him before they finally got the first guy to fail. That was a cool new addition. Anyway, but well, there's a crap load more games, so I'll have to tell you about them next time then. Under the stick or going under your, yeah. I did add them to a playlist called Viking Games, but on my page, but I don't know, on my YouTube, but I don't know if you can see that or if it's only me. It's just things I keep for ideas. But look up Viking Games on YouTube. There's at least 3 or 4 of them. One is from Volin, W-O-L-I-N. And the fun thing there is the people that are participating are speaking Swedish. There's another one from Trelleborg in Denmark, I think. And a third one, anyway, but it's fun to see all the games. And there's another one where you have a sack on the end of a rope and the guy swings it. You have to swing it around, so basically it goes like this. And I think there's a bunch of kids standing on one end, and the object is to get onto the guy's legs without getting smacked with the bag. I'm not sure. I have to look up the rules on that one because my kids loved playing it, but I can't remember the rules. So, oh, there's so many games. We'll have fun. Anyway, so the hat is now this far with the mistake that we never knew about. Maybe I'll finish it by the end of the week. We'll see. And then I can start the green one. Okay, see you next week, same time. We don't have anything going on Saturday yet, do we? Not after hours. So
What would I know?
we're coming back on Saturday at 6 o'clock, Norway time. So see you then.
Bye.
Yeah, sort of like a tug rope. Okay, bye-bye.